Chapter 34. The Aftermath. Day 75. System Reboot. The Queen's public library smelled of old paper and carpet cleaner. To Arthur, it smelled like sanctuary. He sat at a public terminal, the time limit clock in the corner ticking down. 14:02 remaining. He was typing a resume. It was an act of redaction. He highlighted the last 6 months, Director of Data Strategy, Client X, and pressed delete. He highlighted the senior architect roles. He deleted the awards. He deleted the ego. What remained was a skeleton. Arthur Vane. Skills: hardware diagnostic, circuit board repair, inventory logic, Python, SQL. He wasn't an architect anymore. He was a mechanic. He printed 5 copies. The librarian charged him 50 cents. He paid with the change he had begged from commuters at the station. It was humiliating but efficient. Pride was a luxury variable he could no longer afford. He walked out onto 82nd Street in Jackson Heights. He had showered at a men's shelter on Atlantic Avenue. He had shaved with a razor that had been used by 3 other men. He had washed his shirt in a sink and dried it under a hand dryer. He still looked rough. Gaunt, shadowed eyes, hair cut unevenly. But he no longer looked like a raving lunatic. He looked like a man who had fallen off the edge of the world and climbed back up using his fingernails. He walked into Sal's Electronics. It was a narrow storefront jammed between a bakery and a cell phone store. The window was cluttered with dusty radios, cracked tablets, and tangles of charging cables. A bell chimed as he entered. Behind the counter, a man in a grease-stained polo shirt was arguing with a customer about a toaster. "It's the heating element, lady," the man said. "It costs more to fix than to buy a new one." "But it's vintage," the woman argued. Arthur stood by a rack of phone cases. He watched the man sell. Sal was overwhelmed. There were piles of broken laptops on the back bench. There were 3 phones ringing. Inefficiency. The woman left, clutching her broken toaster. Sal rubbed his face. "What do you want?" Sal barked at Arthur. "We don't buy stolen phones." Arthur walked to the counter. He placed the resume on the glass. "I'm not selling," Arthur said. His voice was quiet, steady. "I'm fixing." Sal looked at the paper. He didn't pick it up. "I'm not hiring." "You have a backlog," Arthur said, gesturing to the pile of laptops. "Based on the dust accumulation, the bottom 3 units have been there for at least 2 weeks. Your intake process is bottlenecked. You're losing revenue on turnover time." Sal narrowed his eyes. "You a cop?" "I'm a technician," Arthur said. "I can clear that bench in 4 hours. Sal laughed. "For hours? There's a motherboard issue on the Dell that stumped me for 3 days. "Let me look at it," Arthur said. "If I fix it in 10 minutes, you hire me. Minimum wage. Cash." Sal looked at Arthur's hands. They were thin, scarred, but they weren't shaking. "10 minutes," Sal said. "Clock starts now." Arthur walked behind the counter. He picked up the Dell. He didn't turn it on. He smelled it. Ozone. Capacitor failure. He flipped it over. He unscrewed the casing. He didn't have his own tools, so he grabbed a multimeter from Sal's bench. He tested the circuit. "Bridge fault." "Soldering iron," Arthur said. Sal handed it to him. Arthur worked. The pain in his leg was a constant, screaming companion. Bending over the workbench sent sharp daggers of fire into his L5 vertebrae. He didn't reach for a pill. He didn't wish for the cotton. He breathed into the pain. Input acknowledged. He applied the solder. Tiny silver bead. Connection restored. He reassembled the case. He pressed the power button. The bell chimed. The screen lit up. Windows 10. Done, Arthur said. He looked at the clock on the wall. 8 minutes. Sal stared at the screen. He looked at Arthur. You're overqualified, Sal said suspiciously. Who are you really? Why are you working for peanuts in Jackson Heights? I had a system crash, Arthur said. I'm running in safe mode. Sal didn't ask any more questions. He just reached into the register. 15 an hour, Sal said. Under the table. You start now. 7 p.m. Arthur finished the last laptop. He had fixed 6 machines, reorganized the intake shelf, and color-coded the repair tickets. He wiped his hands on a rag. They were black with dust and flux, but it was honest dirt. It wasn't the grime of the street. Sal handed him $60. Come back tomorrow, Sal said. Arthur took the cash. It felt heavier than the thousands he used to make. I will, Arthur said. He walked out of the shop. He walked to a pharmacy on the corner. He walked down the analgesics aisle. He stopped in front of the pain relievers. To his right, the pharmacy counter. Behind that counter were bottles of gabapentin, Lyrica, Percocet. The silence, the void. He could feel the pull. It was a magnetic force, dragging his eyes toward the white coats in the back. Just ask, the addiction whispered. You have a condition. It's legitimate. Arthur turned his head. He looked at the shelf in front of him. Ibuprofen, 200 milligrams. It was weak. It was over the counter. It wouldn't stop the noise. It would just turn the volume down from a 10 to a 9. Arthur grabbed the bottle. He paid for it. He walked out. He sat on a bench under the elevated train. The 7 train roared overhead. A deafening screech of metal on metal. Arthur winced. His head throbbed. His leg burned. He opened the bottle. He took 2 ibuprofen. He waited. Nothing happened. No euphoria. No warm bath. No God mode. Just a tiny, barely perceptible reduction in the inflammation. Efficient enough, Arthur whispered. He closed his eyes and listened to the train. For the first time in a long time, the noise didn't scare him. It was just the sound of the city moving forward one stop at a time.